The Hollow Hills, published in 1973 as the second installment in Mary Stewart's Arthurian Legends series, continues the story of Merlin, the central character and narrator. Merlin takes on the responsibility of overseeing the birth and upbringing of King Arthur. The novel picks up the day after Arthur's conception, as Merlin awakens after a horseback accident to discover that Duke Gorlois of Tintagel has been killed in a fight instigated by King Uther Pendragon's desire for Duchess Igraine. Utilizing his magical abilities, Uther managed to bypass the guards and spend the night with Igraine, an event foreseen by Merlin, who knew that the union would result in the birth of England's next great king. As Merlin predicted, a young boy named Ralph brings news of Igraine's pregnancy. Realizing the potential dangers Arthur may face, Merlin convinces Uther and Igraine to entrust the baby's upbringing to him, ensuring his safety from Uther's adversaries. Months later, Merlin is summoned to Tintagel for the birth of Igraine's son, Arthur. At just 3 days old, Arthur is handed over to Merlin's care. Aware that Uther's enemies will assume Merlin has the baby, he leaves Arthur with the woman who raised him, assigning Ralph to protect the child from harm. Merlin embarks on a journey to Constantinople, driven by visions of a sword that belonged to Magnus Maximus, England's first king. Recognizing the significance of these visions, Merlin follows their guidance in search of the sword. However, news reaches him of Uther's illness and the absence of another male heir, making Arthur the sole heir to the throne. Merlin rushes back to England and assures Uther that Arthur is under the care of Count Ector, who can be trusted to look after him. After bidding farewell to Uther, Merlin is cautious not to lead Uther's enemies directly to Arthur, the king's only male heir. Along his journey, he becomes engrossed in following signs and visions that guide him to a dilapidated tower. Exploring the ruins, he discovers the very sword that has haunted his dreams, recognizing it as the destined weapon for Arthur. Sensing the significance of the moment, he visits an old chapel sanctuary above Ector's home, knowing it will hold special meaning for Arthur. Later, a young boy arrives on horseback at the altar, and Merlin instantly recognizes him as Arthur. However, he keeps his true identity hidden from Arthur, only revealing himself to Ralph and Ector. At the age of 9, Arthur becomes enthralled with Merlin's tales of his travels, and Merlin imparts knowledge about kingship to help shape Arthur's character for his future role as the rightful ruler. One day, a group of soldiers arrives at Merlin's location, initially raising suspicions that they may be seeking to harm him and Arthur. However, Merlin soon realizes that they have come to recruit Arthur for battle. Acknowledging that it is time for Arthur to fight alongside his father, Merlin accompanies them to the battlefield. Spotting Uther, who appears gravely injured, Merlin informs him of Arthur's arrival. However, before they can properly meet, the Saxons launch an attack. From the sidelines, Merlin watches as Uther, Arthur, and the soldiers engage in battle. The Saxons, a formidable force, almost overpower the Britons, nearly claiming Uther's life. In a critical moment, Uther tosses his sword to Arthur, who leads the troops to victory. Witnessing this pivotal event, Merlin realizes it will solidify Arthur's position as the true leader in the hearts and minds of the soldiers. The group returns triumphant to celebrate at a grand victory festival. During the festivities, Uther publicly proclaims Arthur as his long-lost son and the rightful heir to the Pendragon throne. However, their joy is short-lived as Lot, a lesser king, challenges Uther's decision, claiming that Arthur is not yet prepared to assume such a weighty responsibility. Undeterred, Uther attempts to pass on his own sword to Arthur, symbolizing the immediate transfer of power. To their astonishment, the sword shatters, and Uther collapses, succumbing to his injuries. In that moment, Merlin recalls the enchanted sword he discovered in the temple ruins, realizing its significance. He shares this revelation with the onlookers, explaining that only a true king can wield the sword. The group watches in awe as Arthur effortlessly lifts the sword from the stone, cementing his destiny as the true and rightful king of England. The crowd erupts in cheers, proclaiming Arthur's ascension to the throne. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.